Coming to you from Riverside Avenue in getting ready for a real decade, Minneapolis, this is Nice Games Club, the show where Nice Game Does talk gaming and game development.
I'm Martha McGarry, and I make nice games.
I'm Steve McGregor, and I make nice games.
And I'm Mark LaCroix, I too make nice games. For this special Nicest of 2019 episode, we review a list of the nicest game we played over the last year and go over what we're looking forward to playing and working on in 2020. And so, if everyone's ready, let's start. Oof, so this is the last episode of the decade.
Yes.
A last new episode of the decade.
Yes, right.
Yes. We should probably explain.
We are going on hiatus again for the year 2019, I guess, to 2020. We're going to be revamping Nice Games Club. So we're going to be updating our website, our logo, other content, things like that. Get it all ready nice and shiny for y'all in the new year.
Yeah, we're going to sort of take a look at every part of the show and, not a lot is going to change, maybe. Yeah. Maybe a ton will change. But we just thought now's the time to sort of sit down, take some real time, and kind of, launch it again.
Yeah, totally.
And Martha, a big project that you're spearheading.
Yes, making the new website, and we have dreams. But my hope is that it will be like everything will be nicely categorized, so you can use it as not only as a thing to listen to the podcast through, but also as a resource. All the links and show notes that we talk about, we hope, knock on wood, will be all nicely categorized on the new website, so you can click through and find, I'm doing something on, level design, and find a bunch of articles and tutorials and stuff that we've linked to in the past about that topic.
Yeah, a lot of times we will put links in the show notes, and they're really valuable for what we were talking about in the episode, but they're also just really valuable to have a collection of links about a topic, and so we wanted to make sure that people can actually use it for that purpose.
Yeah, totally. Yep, but don't worry, we'll be back pretty soon. We'll be back in February. In the meantime, we'll have nice replays. We did the same thing last year, and they'll be available to you in the coming weeks.
Yeah, we picked out a couple of our favorites. So I think we have enough episodes now where I doubt they'll even feel like reruns.
Yeah. We have a lot of content. That's why we got to revamp and organize it all.
Yeah, so best of to close out the decade. In our third year.
Yes. Before we start with the best ofs, we should talk about the best ofs 2019 games released here locally in Minneapolis. Starting up, Widget Satchel, of course. Buy it. It's out now.
Yeah, this is the first episode we're recording after it's been out.
Yes.
So, I'm still terribly stressed because there's still post-launch activities.
Yeah.
But it's out there now, and it's in the world. It's a very weird feeling.
Yeah, I was talking about this with my brother recently, in that how you treat your game after launch. Like I've read on Twitter and stuff that some people don't even touch their game after they've released it. Maybe they're in a AAA thing and they didn't work on certain aspects of it, or maybe they're indie and they've just been playing it over and over and over again and they're sick of it. I don't know. But a lot of people. But my brother, he does it. He'll watch people play the game he made a bunch, because I think he's a little paranoid about how people will feel about it on the release and stuff. There's a bunch of different ways you can go about.
I've definitely done that. So a bunch of YouTubers and streamers have streamed Widget Satchel, and either just 15-minute sessions or an hour session or 2-hour session. Yeah. And I'm like, I got to watch every minute of this.
Oh, yeah.
And when you're playtesting a game, the universe of the game, you can contain it all within yourself.
Yeah. At
a certain point, though, some of it will escape your notice. And that's a very strange, it's a good feeling, I guess. Yeah. It's a sign of something good. But I'm like, oh man, I can't, they're sort of popping up one a day, roughly, which is not bad in terms of how it's getting out there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, I can't watch an hour of Widget Satchel every night. I kind of want to.
Yeah.
And it's very gratifying to hear people talk about, one, to see them knocking all the junk around, instinctually.
Yeah.
I've heard people on streams go what is even the point of any of this? Whack, 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 whack.
Yeah.
They can't help themselves even if they don't see. So that's been nice. A lot of the things that we put in there that we wanted people to see are working the way they're supposed to. The key is actually getting it into enough people's hands that they can see it too. Yeah. So in terms of was the game successful in terms of what we wanted it to do, I'd say that we had, there are still, I can still see the seams and the creaks, and I can even spot a couple of bugs.
Yeah.
But the game is what we wanted it to be. And people reacting to it has been good. We talked in many episodes ago about what we define as success.
Yeah.
And I think that is sort of number one. Is like, is the game what we wanted it to be?
Yeah.
Did we do a good job making it? And I think we did.
Yeah.
So anything after that is gravy.
Yes, totally. Another game that came out, Treasure Stack. I work on this on my day job, and it went fine.
You still have your day job.
I still,
so
right?
It went great.
I didn't get fired. That's a good sign, right?
That came out early this year.
It did. It came out in March. I can't remember if it was the beginning of March or the end of March.
Yeah.
But it's out on Steam, Xbox, and Switch. So, if you want to check that out, you can too. Fuse came out. He's been on the show for Will Tice. He worked on that game a whole bunch. And it's like it's not just a game. You can build your own games in it, correct?
Yes, it's Dreams is the big PS4. It's like that, but with a more sort of like DIY kind of a tinkerer's kind of aesthetic.
Cool.
Which is really neat. Yeah, you can make all different kinds of game types and tons of assets and an actual scripting language. Very cool.
Yeah.
And that's out on Switch.
Yeah. If you've always been interested in programming and you haven't had a chance to yet, this is a good opportunity to. It comes with free assets and stuff. So.
Yeah, and Will had a hand in making a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, he's always great at art, so it's good. Tactics V came out recently too. It is a tactics game. It's made by From Nothing Game Studios. It's just local. They made other games previously. That I think there's a couple of games that they made that was on like the Wii U and stuff called like Graph Blocks. It's cool. It's a cool game if you're interested in tactics games. And no, you don't want to play Fire Emblem with its 90 hours of gameplay content. You can check out Tactics V. Newton 1 came out as well. Out on Switch and PS4. It came out last year previously, but the developers were calling it a beta, right?
It's early access.
Yeah, early access. Yeah. Yes, that's
so
right.
you could get it, but I think the true launch happened this year.
Yes. Yeah, totally.
Which is so exciting.
Yeah. Actually, I played through it on the Switch. It was a fun time. Anodyne 2 also came out. We had Marina on the show. She had worked on a lot of the development for the game. So you can check that out. That's out on Switch and Steam. No, it's not out on Switch.
It's on PC only right now.
It's on PC only right
now. But it will come to Switch, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Extreme Mining, who was made by Ben Burns, who also made Color Jumper. He's been on the show once or twice in the past. I think that is our list of locally released games, but there are probably more that we haven't heard of. If there are, please let us know.
Yeah, tweet at us and we'll check them out.
Yeah, totally. Let's start with our best 2019 list. Just remember that
this is best, quote unquote,
best. It's not really the best. It's just the nicest. It's the games we thought were notable that we played over the past year.
Yeah, it's kind of almost like a gut instinct. It's like pick two.
Yeah.
And like what? And then are they the best? Or the ones? They're just the ones that come to mind. And we got a couple of runners up and honorable mentions to chat about too along the way, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I'm first on the list in our show notes. I kind of had a funny year for playing games because I played a lot, like especially during the summer, I was playing a lot of itch games that I had bought a long time ago. And then was getting to actually go through my backlog and go through all of them and play them. And so I found a lot of ones that I didn't really like and a lot of the ones that I liked. I didn't find very many games that were impactful this year that were released actually in this year. So I'm going to be talking about some that weren't released this year. Yeah. So one of the games that I played on itch that really meant something to me was Read Only Memories, which I've talked about before on the show. And that did not come out in 2019, but I played it this year and I really liked it a lot. It was really hopeful to me. Like it was a game that had a really diverse cast of characters. But what was cool about it was that their points of diversity, I guess, were not the problems that they were having. Like they were gay, but their problem was that they had to solve this murder. Like there was like, they got to be themselves and not have to
they weren't typecast,
right?
Yes.
It wasn't identity as plot.
Yes. Yes. It was like, this is the plot and they happen to have these identities, which was super cool. And like, I don't know. It made me feel hopeful for the future, I guess, and that I think this year was good. Another game that I really liked playing this year, which also did not come out this year, was Destiny 2.
Yeah. But there was like a big expansion or something this year, right?
Yes, lots of new content. And I had like taken a break of playing it for a while, and so came back to it this year and have been playing it like obsessively the past couple months. And like it's so much fun to be able to play with my friends, and just it's so good to play after work because it's like a mindless sort of thing. Like you don't have to pay attention to the story. You just to be like, okay, how many things do I have to shoot to get the points to get the thing? And it's like meditative kind of. And my honorable mention is the Goose Game, which did come out in 2019. And I didn't really like playing it, but I have like the memes were so good. They still are good. Like all the Halloween costumes that happened.
Right.
Untitled Goose Game is one of the best games, not for gameplay, but for just being itself.
Sure. That's pretty great.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about the Goose Game when it came out, and you didn't play it, right, Steven?
I still haven't played it, no.
Yeah, Martha and I did, and we both had kind of like so-so feelings, really, really good things about it, and glad everybody's enjoying it.
Yes.
But then reservations, and you can go back and listen to that episode if you want to learn more.
Yes. But,
I started playing Destiny 2 finally.
Oh, yeah.
Because I got a free copy on Stadia, which is the thing I got as a professional curiosity. And because they were giving away Destiny with it. And I have thoughts, which we don't have to get into.
We could do a whole topic on it. Maybe
I know. I feel like I should save it because like I have a lot. I just it's all just ready to go about how garbage its UX is.
I mean, fair. Most of the time I have a good time with it because I can be like, Dylan, what is the point of this thing again? He's like, oh, you do this and then you go here and you can quickly look this up and then you go here and you talk to this person. I'm like, okay, cool, got it. Gonna go do that now.
Well, I need like a librarian like you have Dylan to walk me through it.
We'll get Dale on that.
Yeah. Oh man, like I was telling her, like, Dale, you should play Destiny. It's from the makers of Halo, and you love that. And the story is just as dumb, and you don't have to care like you don't care about the story in Halo. And she's like, that sounds pretty good. So.
Okay.
It is a lot like Halo. Like the feeling of playing it is a lot like that. So
yeah, I think the thing that I haven't played Halo, but I watched Dale play it, and I played a lot of the old '90s first-person shooters where some of that Halo language still lives.
Yeah.
And the thing I noticed about Destiny is just how high you can jump, and the idea of like using verticality and I'm like, oh, this feels familiar to me, kind of. So I got into it in that sense. I think maybe it's because the weaponry is such that it wants you to upgrade all the time, but once I got comfortable, the thing was like, man, I have to reload all the time and it takes forever. And then I'm like, oh, right. There isn't just 4 weapons in this game. There's like a bazillion. And I need to like do a whole meta game to figure out what's the one for me. Not as excited about that.
Yeah.
But
basically just throw away anything that's blue. Purple and higher is what you want.
There's the color coding. Oh man. Okay.
We'll have to talk off mic about strategy for you.
We'll do a special maybe. Martha explains Destiny to Mark.
That means I have to play it.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, obviously. This is what you gotten yourself into, Steven.
I didn't even sign up for it, but I guess I did.
Well, there's crossplay, right?
Right.
So I would love to play, but like I play only on a controller, so I'm at a huge disadvantage.
Here's the secret.
Yeah.
1, you don't have to play multiplayer against people.
Yes.
Okay.
2, I play also with a controller on PC.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Okay.
All right.
Because that's how I'd play it. Well, sweet. Maybe we should do this.
That's what I keep saying.
Well, we have a couple weeks off, so maybe
we're going to be working very hard on the website. Definitely not playing Destiny 2.
Okay, I've got some games that I picked out for the year. These came out this year, which is, I think, the bare minimum requirement in the rules.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Well, I played them this year. That's what matters.
Yeah.
First one is Control. And I talked about this when it came out, that it's definitely, it hits all my buttons. It is a third-person action game. It is a linear story. It has brutalist architecture.
Yeah, it does.
It has a lot of bureaucratic documentation.
Yeah, it does.
It has a protagonist who's like not gruff. Do you know what I mean? Not like, but also not a total like occupational irony.
Yeah.
The main character in it, it's a unusual story arc for a main character, but just like moment to moment, I really enjoyed playing as her.
Okay.
I thought that it just felt right.
Yeah.
And so tons and tons I loved about the game. But ultimately it's sort of open worldy. It's a little more Metroidy, but like after a while, sometimes you're just going tons of backtracking, going back and forth to people to pick up missions.
Yeah.
And then you fight zombies pretty much the whole time.
Oh, fun.
Not really zombies, but essentially zombies. So like there were things that hit all of my anti-buttons. But these are the kinds of games I really, really love. The AAA experiences I love. Last year I talked about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Same kind of idea. Just something that can really get me into a simple loop, a competent third-person action game that has like a story that doesn't insult my intelligence, that has a couple of clever ideas, but isn't trying too hard to be clever, I guess. And when it did walk up to that line, that's where I had a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
And Control does a bit of that. I'm anxiously awaiting the DLC. So I really, really liked it. And the architecture, the brutalist architecture of it, I really love it. And I think people are like taking it as a kind of irony. Like, isn't this so funny how like crazy and blocky and ridiculous this looks? But like, I seriously do like that kind of architecture. And
it looks really cool. There's this website I follow called Dead End Thrills, and they have like, they take a bunch of really cool pictures of like most recently released AAA games and things like that. And they have a bunch of gorgeous pictures of Control. And I took a few of those to use as backgrounds and stuff because like it's really cool.
Yeah.
Like, I like
they added a photo mode to the game finally. And people were like, that's what we're right. Because it's a gorgeous game, really, really well done. And a lot of that is due to the art direction.
Okay.
And it works well in a sort of an artificial setting. But I earnestly love that kind of architecture, and it was really cool to see not just it represented in a kind of a crazy way in the impossible spaces that the game created as part of its supernatural storyline, but also in the sort of small spaces, the sort of 1972 banister up a staircase kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it showed they really kind of did the research, and so it's just cool to see all of that.
Cool.
There's a cool video Polygon just put out about brutalist architecture and talking with the developers about that game. So we might link
it's fun to link for that. Okay, the next one I've got on my list is Link's Awakening, which I don't know that it would. I don't know if it was my favorite gameplay experience, but I never played the original on Game Boy.
Okay.
And I didn't play Zelda growing up. So my first Zelda was, I played Zelda 2.
Oh, sure.
To hear a lot of people say it, that hardly counts. I do love that game. But my first real Zelda experience was with Phantom Hourglass on the DS.
Okay.
So it was, well into adulthood. And so I came to the series in a different way than I think a lot of its longtime fans do. And so Link's Awakening was a lot of fun because it sort of made me like just reading about all the nostalgia for it, and it has this sort of cute sort of Playmobil styling.
Yeah.
It sort of gave me the impression of what it must have felt like to play that in the backseat of a car.
Okay, yeah.
So it was kind of fun to sort of feel like, and the gameplay was really old fashioned, which I really liked. And so it was a unique experience that I don't really get a lot. And
cool.
I dug it.
Yeah. It's cool. Yeah, it looks like a cool game. Fun game to play.
Martha, did you play it?
No.
No?
There were so many games that I wanted to play and then didn't.
Yeah.
There's a long list. No, I didn't play it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay, my honorable mentions, I got a couple. Baba Is You. If you want to hear a little bit of us talk about that, we did when the game came out. But also last year's Nicest, we had Ellen on as a guest host.
Yeah.
And she was really looking forward to that game and was really selling us on it. And that turned out to be one of the best of the year. Really like that game.
Yeah, it's cool.
Like pure mechanics, lots of problem solving, puzzles. I'm way into that stuff. Very charming as well. Luigi's Mansion 3. Love that game.
Lived up to your expectations?
I think so. It just met them. Just met my expectations.
Cool.
Really, really fun.
Despite the doors.
Despite the doors, that's right.
Wait, what happens to the doors?
You can go back and listen to the episode where we talk about it to hear more about some of those little things. But like I said in that episode, seeing those little creaky flaws in a flagship Nintendo title made me feel better about the things we couldn't really get around to, in our games. Like, you know what? not everything has to be 100% polished, and people will still love it.
Right.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
We'll see. Mario Maker 2 is the other one on my list.
Yeah.
That one kind of, like all user-generated type games that I get into, it's like very hot, and then I forget about it immediately because I just do not have the time in my life.
Yeah.
But it was nice to, looking back on the list of games that came out, I was like, oh, right. For 4 days, that was all my life was about, you know? But so I I'm happy for that to have been true.
Yes. That's good. Cool. Should I go over my list?
Your list is like very long.
I tricked you. It's not a list of Nicest of 2019 because
Whoa.
I cheated. I played a bunch of games, but
Where was the meeting where we all decided to break the rules?
we had that. You weren't invited.
I guess not.
Okay,
Fist bump.
Yeah, fist bump. It happened, y'all. Okay, so I played a bunch of games, over 2019, but none of them really stood out to me as nicest, I would say. So, like, I'm going to just list out a bunch of games I played.
Steven, you just played Smash.
Yeah, basically. That's the reason. That's the reason why I couldn't pick one. Is because I would have just said Smash and Skyrim again. And I can't do that for like the third time. So before I do that, though, I want to list a bunch of games I didn't get to play. Woo! I didn't play Sekiro. I didn't play Luigi's Mansion 3. I didn't play Pokemon Shield. Didn't play Cadence of Hyrule. I didn't play Borderlands 3 or Death Stranding. I wanted to play all those. Didn't get a chance to.
Yeah.
But these are the games I played that I thought were okay or, good. But I something like that. I don't know. Katana Zero. I like that game. You play as a samurai, and it's kind of like a stealth game. I played it on the train, though, so it wasn't really like the best situation. I would like play it in a living room or something because there's like narrative and stuff. There's some beats that didn't really hit me as well because I was dealing with other people screaming on the train or whatever. I played Slay the Spire, which was fun, but like then I finished it and I was like, that's enough for me. I don't know. It's a roguelike game where you play with a deck of cards, which is interesting. It's really cool, but I thought it was well designed. But like after I beat it with like the 3 characters you can play as, I felt like I got my fill of it. I also played Super Mario Maker 2, and kind of just like Mark, I played it for about a week. Finished a level and I was like, oh, maybe I'll try another level. And then I just kind of stopped. It's fun, though. It's a good game. I also played Celeste, which was not released last year or this year, but I was just getting into it now. And I enjoyed it. But like after a while, I felt like I was just kind of going through the motions.
I need to play that game. I have a copy now.
You actually should very much play it, Mark.
Yes,
I think it's your kind of game.
I just need to sit down and do it.
Yeah. It does kind of hook you a little bit. So it's worth it. And then I also played this game called Crossneak. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Crossneak Plus. It's like a puzzle game. It's kind of like an action puzzle game, but you need to make crosses of like or similar colors on this board.
That's the game that was like advertising itself as like Dreamcast aesthetic.
It's very Dreamcast aesthetic.
Yeah, I follow the developer on Twitter and was just very charmed by the. Not the game for me, but like very, very charming.
Oh yeah, I was hit a little bit with nostalgia because of all of the like. As soon as I hit that, I was like, "Oh man, this is on Sega, ain't it?" It was pretty great. I liked it, but like I'm not huge into action puzzle games, and I need somebody else to like play it so I can be competitive with them, or I can play it a bunch. So I didn't get into it a ton, but those are all those games, and they were good. You could play them. Maybe you like them better than I did.
So why do you think nothing struck you?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, a lot of it is because I had Smash and I just felt very satisfied playing that game. I'm going to be honest. Yeah. But I think, I don't know. I think that like the year, I think last year we went over games that like we were really looking forward to next year. And I don't think any of them came out that I was really looking forward to. Like Neo 2 didn't come out. I might have put that on the list.
That's coming in March?
Is it? I hope. Sometime next year, definitely.
Yeah.
I think. And then like other games that came out, I just was not super interested in. I don't know. There was like, I mean, I wanted to play like Luigi's Mansion 3. I was interested in playing Control, at least for I've always wanted a game where like you do a lot of action-y stuff with physics.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like Control hits the buttons I'm looking for from that, but it's kind of close. It's kind of similar to what I was looking for. And things like that. But I don't know.
Well, it feels like it's already the end of 2019 like that. How did that happen? Like I was like, oh yeah, I'll get to that. And now suddenly there's no more time to get to that.
Like, yeah, that's part of it too. And I mean, like we were working on a bunch of new stuff. I I should have put Widget Satchel on here, but that would have been cheating. Because I was honestly looking forward to playing that, and now I have it, and I can play it on a train and wherever.
Yeah, that you had said that's why you didn't buy Pokemon.
Yes, that is in fact the reason why I didn't buy Pokemon, because I'm too busy playing Widget Satchel to deal with Pokemon. Also, Pokemon is long, and I never beat them. I only play them like halfway through, and then I get bored and stop playing. So yeah, I don't know. It's not like games that came out were not good. And even the games I played, they were good. They didn't stand out to me. None of them like games in the past did.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because I am changing or the games released this year just were not for me or what. But I don't know. I guess a lot of things changed for me this year too. Like I moved out of my parents' place, and like I'm still working a new job. I'm starting a new project. A lot of things changed. So maybe that was part of it too. I don't know. Yeah, well, at any rate, we got next year coming up.
Yeah.
We're going to go over our most anticipated games in 2020.
Appearing for the third consecutive year.
Wait, let me get your soapbox.
Ooblets. That's all. I know that they're real busy and people harass them a lot. So please don't harass them. But I'm very much looking forward to Ooblets when it comes out. And we'll be trying to give them my money for this very anticipated thing. No matter if it's good or not, they still deserve my money for the hope and inspiration they have given me.
I feel like Ooblets is one of those games where it's very GIFable, right? And it looks great. And you're like, well, what do indie games cost? Indie games cost like $15 to $20. Like anticipated ones, will cost like 20 to 30 or something. And like, if all it is just looking at something cool for like an hour or two, it's totally worth it. Like,
yeah.
There's no way a game like that could let anybody down.
Yeah.
They're so cute, and they dance. They dance now. It's a dance off. That's what the battles are. It's amazing.
That's pretty great. Oh wow.
That's all. Oh, Animal Crossing is coming out. I'm looking forward to trying it because the last Animal Crossing game I played was the one that everyone says is bad.
Oh,
so like the DS.
I didn't know
one
there
of
was
the
a
DS
bad,
one.
I didn't know there was a bad Animal Crossing game.
Well, the one that people are like, oh, yeah, you should probably try a different one than that one before you give your make your impression on it. So whenever that comes out, I'll probably pick it up just to try it again. And then another very giftable game, Skateburb. I hope that's good.
Yeah,
that's a real game. Speaking of skateboard based ones, Ollie. I want that game to come out.
Yeah.
So locally developed game.
That is a dog on a skateboard, and it's very adorable.
Yeah, that looks like a great game. I just seeing where it is, I think it's in a pretty good spot, but I don't think it's going to come out next year.
Oh,
just saying.
Well,
I mean, prove me wrong, Alex, please.
No, Alex, get some sleep.
Healthy game devs, better game devs.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair.
Speaking as someone who has not gotten a lot of sleep.
Healthy game devs, better game devs, Mark.
Doing my best.
We all are. Yeah, so Mark, what are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to new consoles.
Ooh, oh yeah, that's right.
That is going to PlayStation, Xbox. I mean, it's just kind of cool. Like I have no justification. Like consoles are as good as they're ever going to be. I mean, as a developer, I don't have AAA budget, so I can only push them so hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I would certainly love to have more overhead so I can be a little sloppier with my code. But aside from that, I don't need them to be better or different. It's just fun. It's really exciting. And of course, new controllers, which I'm all about.
Oh yeah. I like it.
I'm really looking forward to that because I think there's just a refreshing time where everyone sort of rethinks their strategy. Big companies try weird stuff.
Yeah.
And you don't get that a lot. And so they're throwing spaghetti at the wall, and whatever's the next business model or delivery mechanism or sort of genre experiment, whatever thing will define the next generation, people will be trying that stuff now.
Yeah.
So we're going to see a lot of interesting things.
Yeah.
And as a developer, it's pretty exciting because I would love to get access to that hardware and to see how it works and to see how it's different from the previous one and just kind of tinker with it.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that this year.
Yeah, that's exciting stuff.
Yeah. And in terms of like as a gamer, I don't know that I'm looking forward to it for that reason. But that's fine, I guess.
Have they announced any games that are coming out on? I know they said the new Halo is going to come on the Xbox, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Xbox 2.
Actually, I don't know if they like officially said that, but it's so hinted that it's pretty much that's the launch title for the next Xbox.
But I don't think they said anything about PS5 at all, right?
No, I don't think so. Like the Sony did a couple of tech demos demonstrating their solid state memory, and they used Spider-Man as their benchmark running on a PS5, or they didn't call it that then, but then they said in some random news article, of course it's going to be called the PS5. The reveals are really interesting. Like, I don't know that they're going to have the same big press events like they've done the past generation, which is 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Which is just...
Like, we thought the previous generation was long. Like, I mean...
it feels like... Wasn't that just last year?
Yeah,
like that's
amazing.
what it feels like. It's like, what? How are we even on a new generation? For me anyway.
I mean, I keep forgetting that the Switch came out 2-3 years ago.
2 and change. So it'll be 3 this spring.
Okay, wow. See, like I just keep being surprised by that. I'm like, it just came out like 3 months ago, didn't it? But I'm really looking forward to these new consoles too. Even though we haven't gotten any games announced yet, like, there's always new possibilities, new potential with new consoles.
Yeah, and the idea of like the embracing the model of like forwards compatibility. So games will live on the way they do on PC. And that's really exciting for independent developers.
Yeah.
Is to, then you don't have to necessarily worry about your scheduling. You don't have to worry about install base. You can build a library title. You can... it can live on, right? It doesn't die with the platform the way it used to.
Yeah.
And so that's exciting.
Yeah.
Right? But, it also means perhaps limitations. The more and more we're buying things digitally, the more and more things are rights managed rather than just a physical copy you own, even though that still also had a license attached to it. So, there's the conversations around those things are really interesting. And I'm always fascinated to hear what people have to say about that stuff, and and where it fits in with all the other innovations and stagnant practices and new ideas and old ideas that won't die and like all that stuff. It's interesting.
Yeah, totally.
The other thing I'm looking forward to is some high-profile indie games. Both of these ones got announced at E3 this year.
Okay.
What was it? 12 Minutes.
Okay.
It's a game where you it sort of has a time travel conceit, where you sort of play the same narrative over and over again.
Oh, that's right.
And you can make different tweaks and changes to have it kind of move in a different way. And it could either be really melodramatic, because I think there is like a murder plot, or it could be really like narratively profound.
Yeah.
It really could go either way. But I'm interested in it because it's a mechanic that is not itself, in terms of what you do, terribly like groundbreaking.
Yeah.
But in terms of like how the game is structured, it's incredibly unique. It's one of a kind. So it's got a little bit of money and some push behind it. So I'm excited about that.
Okay, cool.
The other one is Spiritfarer, which just looks super charming and also has a really great narrative component. So I'm looking forward to that one as well.
All of those things I can confirm. I didn't get to play that at E3. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I would be cheating because I'm going to put that on my list too.
Yeah.
It's just like a hug 'em up. You just walk to people and hug them, and it's
that's great.
It's great.
Yeah, you did you did impressions on that on the E3 special we did.
I did
earlier this year. So listeners can go back and listen to that too.
Yeah, totally. Let me go over my list. I'm still looking forward to Neo 2, as I said before. It's not out yet, but it looks cool. There was like a beta or something on the PlayStation 4 that came out a month or two ago or something like that. And I didn't get a chance to play it because I don't have a PS4. But I mean, a lot of people seem to be into it. I'm excited for it. And then I'm also weirdly interested in The Last of Us 2. I liked the first one, even though I didn't play it. I just watched my brother play it.
Yeah.
And I kind of like watching when my brother like plays games for the family. He like displays the game, so like he plays it all cinematic, like.
Nice.
It's pretty great. And so like I'm interested because like I felt like The Last of Us 2 or The Last of Us the first one had a pretty cool narrative, an interesting narrative. And I liked it a lot better than like the Uncharted games because like it felt like the gameplay made a lot more sense for this game. So The Last of Us 2 seems a lot more brutal than the first one, but like brutal for a reason, maybe. We'll see anyways when it comes out.
It's kind of another, I'm gonna kind of be mean to it, but it's like, in the zombie apocalypse, the real monsters are your fellow humans.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
But Ellie is a really great character. In the first game, I really liked her, and I liked her story.
Yeah.
And like her acclimating to this world.
Yeah.
It was a little, not too far off the mark, but a little unique to that genre.
Right.
I like that quite a bit. And having Joel, the previous protagonist, be more of a sort of a explicit mentor side character in this one seems like a really good evolution of that character.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. I mean, I played the first one. I saw the giraffe, like,
Yeah.
but again, zombies. Like, I don't. What is it that all games need zombies? Like,
I'm not into zombies. You know what? If I talk to my brother about them, I'm like, I hate zombies, and my brother's like, they're not zombies, they're clickers because they have fungi in them, and that makes them move or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, they're reanimated corpses. That's the zombie.
Yeah, I because of like sort of the brutal, like a lot of the cutscenes that have been shown or a lot of the gameplay, I hope that there's more stealth.
Yeah.
There was quite a bit in the first one, especially when you're avoiding the clickers, right?
Yeah.
But there was still a lot of like drawn out shootouts as well, and I could use less of that.
Yeah, and I think that game kind of serves better for that anyways.
Yes, like you were saying, like the story makes sense with the mechanics.
Yeah.
That's definitely true with a couple of exceptions. And so I hope they smooth that out a little more even in this game.
Right, totally. I'm also looking forward to Spiritfarer. Like I said, it's a hug 'em up, which is like the best. I also put on this list Vengeance.
What?
Oh, you're a qualifier, perhaps?
Yeah, I'm gonna regret this later probably, but we have plans to release the game next year.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a surprise.
You heard it here now.
I'm sorry, Lane and Charles, because I did not tell them I was going to be saying this on the show.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, we've made promises on this program before.
That's true. And we kept all of them.
Yeah. I'm looking at my resolutions.
I'll have to go back to the tape on that. But
Don't. Yeah. But yeah, we've been working on it more recently. I feel like I say this every few months, but like our intent this time,
true, right?
Yeah, it is. But our intent for this previous work period is we were going to work on it until the end of the year. And then after that, we're going to like reevaluate where we're at and then like just work on getting it released. So like, adding in the content that you need in order to put it on Steam and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So those are our plans. You will hear from us in the future if that doesn't come to fruition. But I think I have high hopes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm saying it here. We can do it.
Yeah, and
you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have always felt that the game is on the verge of completion
Right.
for quite a while.
Yeah.
And so that is always, what is it? The second 90% is the hardest, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're sort of the game is fully scoped.
Yes.
There's no more added content. You're even thinking about reconfiguring and trimming from the conversations I've heard you guys have.
Yep.
So it seems like you're really thinking about going into the home stretch.
Yes. Totally.
For real this time.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Like people need to get that game in their hands.
They really do.
It's so good.
It's a very fun game. Yeah. Should we talk about our New Year's game dev resolutions?
We must.
Well, we just copied and pasted mine from last year, which is make a game like make a game.
Uh-huh.
So to be fair, Martha, you did release a game.
True.
Yeah.
I released.
I mean, it wasn't. I guess it wasn't this year, but like
True. That's true.
not everybody can say that.
That's true. Yeah. Because I don't do it for my job and I have limited time outside of my job.
Right.
Talking about making games actually takes more time. Like I do that more than I actually work on games. So I'm trying to come to terms with that myself. Because it's hard when you're an adult and you don't have infinite time like you did when you were a high schooler.
Yeah, totally is.
Or even a college student. So, so that's what I'm going to be working on is actually working on a game sometime in here.
Cool.
Even if I just make a little one, like maybe that's what I should do is like not worry about making my bigger projects, but maybe like try to make something I can put on itch or something.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's a visual novel that takes you a weekend that you can publish. Like that will give you enough energy to tackle the next bigger project, right?
Yeah.
One of the things I used to tell people all the time when I was working in film is like, you've had this idea since you were 14. Put it aside until you've made your 5th project.
Yeah.
You know? And even when you think you've done that, even when you think your thing is kind of small, it still kind of can be more productive to put it aside until you have some more experience. I mean, it's not the only way to do it, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes chipping away at the big idea is the way to go.
Yeah.
But if you found that that's not working for you, then I think where you're headed is hopefully will work better for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Because what gets me stuck is my skill level on a lot of the things like that I need. And then I'm like, oh, well, I'll just, play Destiny instead. So much easier. I can check all the boxes. I know how to do those things.
I mean, you laugh, but that's kind of a big deal to know how all those things are.
That's true.
You should feel proud of yourself.
Yeah.
Ding. Yeah. So that's mine. What about yours, Mark?
Mine is now that Witch's Satchel's out,
Woo, woo.
I'm filled with like a sort of a big feeling of emptiness.
Oh, okay.
Like, what do I do now, right?
You're an empty nester.
Like it is kind of. I'm sort of darting around looking for the thing to do.
Sure.
I mean, the game came out days ago,
Yeah.
right? So like, there's still, I'm sure I will at a certain point collect, any user reports that come in or any of the things I've noticed on the streams and do a patch release just to fix a bug or two or something like that.
Sure.
It's been, all the bugs I'm seeing are the bugs we knew were there. So there's, but then also we've always had a feature update planned for the spring,
Right.
when we want to bring the game to Xbox and PlayStation. So I think that might be what I need to spend the next couple of months on.
Okay.
But I do need a week or two off.
Yeah. Get some sleep, please.
Yeah. So my resolution is to have a plan for all of this.
Okay.
Is to actually because I think even with Widget Satchel, it was always kind of like, well, I'll just work on it till it's done. Right. And even when it had a schedule, like work on it till this date. Right.
Yeah.
It was still like, well, then what? I never had a then what. That was more just like, oh, go back to Metro Nexus or like, oh, it'll just be do the next project or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think I need to, thinking about my company, thinking about like, what does the next 4 years look like? And, that plan can change immediately.
Oh, yeah.
But I think I need to have a plan more than I have had in the past.
Sure. Something to fall back on, right?
Yeah. And then that'll help me things like, well, maybe I can start really properly budgeting for something. I can start working on, some of the more infrastructure that it takes to run a business, more than just having a business. And maybe I find that I don't need to do a lot of that, but I don't think I've given it a lot of consideration.
Sure.
I'm much more interested in the game making of a part of game making.
Yeah.
And I don't think that would change too much, but I do need to kind of take stock of it all. So that's my plan is this year, by the end of this upcoming year, 2020, I want to sort of know what 2021 and 2022 look like.
Sure.
Because I haven't had that. And then things happen and I'm surprised and I don't know what to do with myself. So I'm like less prepared for swerves in the road. So I need to buckle down a little bit more.
Cool.
What about you, Steven?
Yes, I am doing two contradictory things. I want to both work on other side projects and not work on games as much, which you can't really do both things.
So are you opening a restaurant?
I don't know. So I want to work on other smaller games. Largely because I want to build up a portfolio, not necessarily build up a portfolio of things so I look more attractive to future employers or anything like that. But just I guess I also want to start developing a plan for the future. In terms of like where I want to be, and maybe like it would be nice to be able to get some form of income outside of just work. And I was thinking like maybe what I could do is like work on a bunch of side projects, throw them up on itch, and then maybe those can give me little small tails. And if I have like 10 of those things and the tail ends up being larger as a result of that, I don't know. I have a coworker who, before he worked at where we're at now, he used to make educational games. He has like a ton of them. Educational games are pretty niche. And like, but they have like a audience that, are dedicated to purchasing them because like teachers want games to throw out their kids so they don't have to teach them or whatever. And so like that has been not lucrative so much, but like it's been, a small source of income that he can look forward to every once in a while. And I was just thinking like it would be nice if I had that. And in addition to that, like I could, work has been pretty great in terms of like I get to get my creative juices flowing at work, and that's nice. But like I don't currently, I like working on the project I'm working on now, but like I would also like to work on other things that are not necessarily related to a rhythm fighting game. So like I want to work on more smaller projects, but at the same time, I'm finally kind of at a place now where I don't have to work on games as much. Like the past few years when I started working, or when I started part of Nice Games Club, I was very focused on building a portfolio so that like I look hireable to people. But now I have a bunch of games released, and I think that I'm in a pretty good spot in that point. And I also am working in full time in my job and making video games. So I can also start focusing on other things that I wanted to do. Like it would be nice if I could take dance classes,
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Have a rich, full life.
Yeah, maybe travel and things like that.
I mean, whatever.
It sounds appealing to me too. So I'm conflicted in what I want to do. So what I really need to do is I need to establish some form of working system so that I can handle both things. Maybe like I'll work on my project on certain days and then work on other things about myself on other days. I don't know.
Yeah, have kind of a tier of activity or goal, and then treat them as a bunch of cards in a deck.
Yeah.
So you don't have to think like this or that, but you can just have this is of this category, and this is the attention I give to it. It's so many days a week or whatever, and I have 2 of them going on right now.
Yeah.
And one of them is a little game I'm working on my own, and the other one is some other self-improvement initiative. Right.
Yeah, like that would be nice. So I think what I need to do is I just need to try to figure out a way to structure my life so that I can do the things I want to do, I suppose. Which is not a super clear resolution, but I get to make it vague and then maybe not follow up on it.
Well, here's a question. Like, you sort of almost lamented the stability you've reached, right?
Kind of. It's weird, right?
Does it kind of gnaw at you? Like when you sit and watch TV, you're like, I should really be doing something else? Or
yeah, actually, yes. It's not even necessarily just like it's not like I should be working on games or I should be going outside or whatever. It's just I should be doing something else. And it's not that watching TV is not enriching for me because I can get some stuff out of it. But I do feel like oftentimes I'm watching some show I've already watched before that I'm not super interested in just because like I want to not do things.
Yeah.
So maybe I just need to be more motivated to do things. Yeah, that's my resolution. We figured it out. Thank you all for my help, for your help. I will be more motivated to do things. Yes. Well, in 2020, what games will we be working on?
Getting a little more specific now.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, mine will be a game.
Okay.
Do you feel comfortable being only that specific?
Well, as we were talking about maybe doing little small projects, maybe that is what I'll be doing. Okay. But if it's like, that's not working either, and go back to work chipping away at bigger projects, the point and click and the grammar crime are my 2 big ones. So, yeah. That's, I guess, all I can say.
Yeah.
At this point in time, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be too specific and then eat my words later.
Well, also, you don't want to use the new year as an excuse to upend your goals.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I think I'm just going to keep on keeping on.
Cool. It's a good place.
How about you 2?
The couple of things, 3 things that are definitely on my agenda, and I need to, as mentioned, put into a more structured plan. One is Metro Nexus, which is a game I got to get back to. And this past couple days, since Widget Satchel's been out, I've been trying to sort of, as I answer emails and do the other post-launch stuff, I've been taking my old code base and porting it to Haxi, which is a language that I can then take to cross-compile to C++ and actually get it working on consoles.
Okay.
Which is a sort of a goal I've had for that project for a long time. And the plan of attack to do that has been rattling around in my head for 2 years. When Widget Satchel started, I mentioned this on the show many times, I set aside Metro Nexus and I did not touch it. And that was really important to making sure Widget Satchel got done.
Yeah.
And I don't regret it, but I definitely feel like I'm making up for a little lost time. And it's been... looking at my old code, it's like, okay, it's not bad. But the porting process is, I'm learning a whole new framework. And it's all of the little shortcuts, all the little learnings that I mean, I feel like a Unity ninja now.
Oh yeah.
But like I'm sort of happy that I won't be using it exclusively, but also at the same time, it's like I have so much working knowledge of how to solve problems in Unity now.
Sure.
That I'm like, I want to make sure that I don't lose that or have it distract me from the task ahead, which is to actually get Widget Satchel up and running.
Right.
Or start to get Metro Nexus back up and running.
Yeah.
So that's the one big project, and that is the longer term project, right? That's a game that will take at least another year of development, I believe. The immediate things are updating Widget Satchel.
Yeah.
Get it out on those other two consoles. That actually, I think I will have a great fun doing that.
That's good.
All the hard work for that project is done. And so I think I will enjoy it. There will be problems, I'm sure. But also, adding that co-op that we'd always planned.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And the design of that is more or less complete. So it's I think what's going to be is like finding bits of code where I have like make this make sense for two players. Mm-hmm. Whereas right now, like you sort of hard code, player numbers.
Yeah.
I left a lot of openings for multiplayer in the current code base. So we'll see what the task ahead on that one is. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest new feature I want to add for a content update. So that's number 2.
Okay.
And then number 3 is I'm working with Ben Burns, who we mentioned on the show earlier. Mm-hmm. His game Color Jumper, I'm helping to port that to Switch.
Ooh.
And I'm going to help him publish it. So on Switch. So I'm really excited about that because I get to tinker around in his code base, which is great because he's like, I'm sorry about that problem in there. And I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. And I get to be really blasé about it. But it's a really well-structured project. Mm-hmm. I'm actually very pleased to be working with it. A lot of credit to him because when you work on a project by yourself and then someone else takes a peek, there's a lot of you-isms that in your code base that is difficult for someone else to understand. Yep. But Ben did a great job building something that I can make sense of.
Cool.
So it's been a lot of fun doing that, and it's very close to finished. But he wants to make a couple of content updates and to really make it worthwhile to port the project. And so, but it's very close to being ready. So, but, there's still administrative stuff and, prepping builds and going through lot check and all the stuff you do when you put a game on Switch. Mm-hmm. But I think that's the first thing. Because it's so close. And it's been a lot of fun, and it's a different kind of stress than which Satchel was. Mm-hmm. I'm more shepherding this project than spearheading it.
Cool.
So that's been fun. So that's the third one, but I think that one's going to come first.
Okay, awesome. Well, that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I will be working on Rhythm Rumble. I've talked about this on the show before, but combination of rhythm fighting game. It's a very strange, uncharted territory kind of thing, and so I'm really looking forward to working on it. I've had a good time working on it so far, but like it's so different that it's hard to. My working knowledge of fighting games is helping, but also hindering me because it's so different.
Yeah.
And so like I'm honestly having a great time working on it because it's so unique. I love it. And then I'll be working on Vengeance. It'll be out. Yeah. So that's exciting too. I've changed up what I have been working on for Vengeance. Like I've been working on the dialogue. So I've been doing writing, which is
cool.
Yeah.
That's rad.
It's been pretty fun. We've had some characters in the game that have been in there for a long time, but they never had any dialogue because we were focused on other stuff. And I just decided to put some, figure out what their personalities are and then, write some things for them. And it's been well received by Lane, at least. So I've got that.
Yeah.
And I make myself laugh sometimes when I'm writing these things, and that's half the battle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm having a good time working on Vengeance, changing things up a little bit there. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to 2020 this next year. It's going to be cool. It's going to be exciting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, check in with us again around a year from now.
Yeah.
Where we can all apologize for the things we didn't live up to and talk about the things that surprised us and delighted us.
Yeah.
And, because there's nothing ever goes as you plan.
Mm-hmm.
Just got to be ready for the twists.
Yes. Totally.
Hey, that's our show. If you haven't already, subscribe to Nice Games Club in your favorite podcast app and be sure to give it a good review if you liked it or a nice like us. We need to know you're out there, so leave a review and tell all your friends too. We want to hear directly from you as well, so follow us on Twitter at Nice Games Club, where Dale posts cool Nice Game Club news. That's just a weird way to put it. We've been saying that for a couple of weeks. It's one of the things we'll be revamping for the relaunch of the show. You can email us, of course, contact@nicegames.club. Last, you can find out more about the show in your nice house, as well as get all the links and show notes from this and other episodes at nicegames.club. So until we meet again some weeks from now,
Yes.
remember to
play nice
and make nice.